So we need a virtual machine, and I'll do it in Azure. Okay. You can do in Google, there is no difference. So Azure also give you a, basically Azure also give you 30-day subscription. We need 2 subscriptions to cover the course. Okay. Now the 30 days have expired for me. So you also have to create. So before going to the website, I'll tell you how to create an Azure account. You have to go to azure.microsoft.com/free. Getting the point? Azure.microsoft.com/free. Then it will redirect you. In my case, it has redirected me to US website. In some cases, it will be n-in, means India website. That doesn't matter where it redirected. So all of you have to do this exercise today. We'll be using both Azure and Google. So please do it and reply me. Then you have to click Start Free. Then it will go for a sign up. Then you have to basically log in with one of your user accounts. Whatever user account you have, you can actually log in. Okay. So say for example, I log in with one of the Gmails. Here I already have an account. So that is why it is directly taking to me. I already have an account. If you don't have an account, I'll tell you where it takes in the next screen. It takes here. Okay. So fill all the details, your name, your email address, and mobile number. And you have to remember here one thing. This combination should be unique. You should not use again and again. So what is the combination? Your name, your email address, your mobile number, and your debit or credit card. This should be unique. You should not have earlier used this combination to create Azure or any other Microsoft service. You should not have earlier purchased or used a free trial. So this combination is unique. Please remember: name, email, mobile, debit, credit card. After 30 days, to create the second account, again you have to use different combination and also a different browser. If you do in Chrome, next time do in Edge. That is one thing you have to remember. And Visa, MasterCards are supported. Yes. Rupee card may not be supported. No. If you have a Rupee card, I'm not sure if they support, they may not support. It has to be any of the Visa. So today itself, all of you please create. And whoever has created, put a note to me that I created. I want everybody to create. Yes, Abdul.
Yeah, I have created it already.
When?
2 days back.
That's good. Okay. That's good you created. Just 2 day old, right?
Yeah,
Okay. No, can you do me a favor then, Abdul?
sure.
You go to your Azure like this. Can you see something called Entra ID
No,
in your account?
I can share you the screen.
Okay. I'll tell you how to make a user as administrator. First, let's complete this practical. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, this is vertical screen. So
No problem. There in the search, type ENTRA, Entra.
because of Entra ID.
Go to users. Add new user. This is on mobile, right?
No, no. Actually, it is a vertical screen. 1 second. I'll
No,
just change the
no, no,
left.
no, no, no need, no need. I was thinking on a mobile, it's terrific. I thought, wow, this looks good.
Actually, it is a vertical monitor.
Okay,
Create new.
okay. Then put there Raghu, RAGHU, or Raghav, whatever it is. And there you have a password. First of all, you copy that password
Sure.
and paste it in a notepad.
1 second.
Or there is a chat window you can send there.
Do I need to send in the chat?
Yeah. Okay. Then click next.
Next properties here down.
Yeah, next. Yeah. Then just come down. Okay, next. Add role. Their filter for global. Yeah, global. Yeah. Select global administrator. Say select in the bottom. Say review and create. Copy and send that also. Now it says validation failed. See why validation failed. Go back and see where exactly you have done a mistake.
Display name.
Display name you have to give.
Right.
That's it. Review create. Create. Now go to home. Navigate down until you see something called as subscriptions. It is better to check in home only.
Okay.
Yeah, come down. You have subscription. Yeah, subscriptions. Click that. You have a by default subscription called free trial. Click that. To the left side, third one is access control. Yeah, that one. Top third.
Okay. So,
To the right side, you have add button and a drop down. Click that and add role assignment. There you have a tab, privileged administrator roles. Select owner. Click next. There is a plus button. Select members. Search for R. Yeah, you get my name. Select that and say select and say next. Yeah, it's selected. Just say next.
okay.
Select the second radio button. Allow user to assign all roles. Review and assign.
Do I need to click again?
Yes. So that is how we create a user and make him administrator in Azure. Now you can unshare.
So, yeah. So,
So this is the user account that is of interest now. So what we can do is, what you have to do is you have to log in with the user like this. So you have to type portal.azure.com. Once you create an Azure account, you will be automatically redirected, and that is where you have to go every day and just give whatever your username and whatever the password you get, you have to give. And in Azure, the first time you log inside, you have to change the password. It's mandatory you change the password. So I'm going to change my password. If it is asking for any action required, you just say ask later. So this is Microsoft Azure, the equivalent of Google and your bread and butter. If you get a welcome screen, just skip it. Skip. Now you see something called virtual machines. If you cannot see anything, you can always go to search and type. When you type, you will see something called virtual machines. So click virtual machines. You have a create button. So it says, do you want to create an Azure virtual machine? Say, yes, I want to create an Azure virtual machine. Now, When you create a virtual machine, do you know multiple components are created? A virtual machine or a server is created, a hard disk is created, some networking elements are created, some monitoring elements are created, some backups are created. Huh? That means when you create a virtual machine, according to Azure or in our Azure, it is not a single item. Multiple components are created. So tomorrow, when I don't want this virtual machine, instead of deleting first the server, delete the virtual machine. That does not mean it will delete disk. You have to manually delete disk. You have to manually delete network items. You have to manually delete backups. Everything you have to manually delete. So when you create a virtual machine, 8 to 12 objects are created based on the number of configurations we do and the number of tick marks we are going to keep here. Okay. Now what Microsoft says is, why don't we keep all these things in a group that is called resource group? Anything we are creating here is a resource. Virtual machine is a resource. Hard disk is a resource. User is a object. See the difference. User is a object. Virtual machine is a resource. Disk is a resource. Network is a resource. Every other thing is a resource. So what Microsoft says is, when you create this virtual machine, let us create a group so that all the components are created in the group. Now, who can tell me the advantage of putting in a group? What does our common sense say? Hmm?
We can view
Create,
at one point,
delete the group,
delete and view at one point.
everything is deleted. You view the group, you can see all the objects.
Yes.
Okay, so you should always create a group. So create a group. Now, for example, when it comes to name, generally in Azure, it is advisable to start with RG, indicating this is a resource group. When you create a public IP, it is advisable to call it as PIP. That means you start a public IP with the name PIP. PIP hyphen East US, because I'm creating in East US in Azure, or PIP hyphen Mass Chennai, something like that. So whenever you are creating an object, you have to give an appropriate name. So I'm going to create a resource group. Something should be small or everything can be small. Either you follow capital letters or small letters. Don't be in between. I love to use small letters because a lot of times Microsoft advises to use small letters, but that is not compulsory. So I'm going to create a resource group RG hyphen. I am going to host a website. So can I call it as RG hyphen website? Would it make any sense?
Yeah.
Because this is the resource group where we are creating virtual machine. We are creating a virtual machine for your corporate website. Say okay. Just come down. Now, what is the virtual machine name? This is where we have a confusion. What could be our virtual machine name? What will be the virtual machine name? Now, for example, somebody says www.redhat.com. Here, the name of the website. So, website name is the full name www.redhat.com. This is the website name. Server name where the website is hosted. is www. And the domain name is redhat.com. So that is how you should understand. This is the domain name. In the domain, this is the server name, and the full his website. The full name is www.redhat.com. This is typically called as fully qualified domain name. So in my case, now I wanted to host a website. Let me go and see what I have. I have something called cloudbasics.co. So I purchased a domain in dreamhost.com called as cloudbasics.co. And here I have my domain. All these are domains. So you find something called DNS. It doesn't matter where you purchase your domain. You might purchase your domain in Dreamhost, Namecheap. There are many places to purchase. And I advised you yesterday, purchase your domain in namecheap.com. Okay. And here, if I am in your place, I would have purchased a domain like this. I could have purchased Raghav and I search for Raghav or Raghavendra, whatever it is my name. And I'll just come down. I don't care a shit about what this is. I just come down until I see explore 400 plus additional extensions. Then I would have gone for $2 or less. Then I would have selected which one is cheaper. Anything is okay. I have Raghav.quest. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You can take anything. I would have taken that Raghav.quest. Okay. So take anything that looks a little appropriate. It should be something that's something. It can be motorcycles, no problem. If you are a female, you can say .mom or a makeup, whatever it is. If you feel congested in accepting that, then click professional. You have a little professional, names, and you select anything you want, but they're quite expensive, is it? Okay, so purchase. So I purchased Cloud Basics. Now, so this is my domain called Cloud Basics. Are you getting the point? Now, I decided that in my case, my domain name is going to be Cloud Basics. So what is the computer name I have to give? What's the computer name I have to give? The computer that is hosting the website, what would be its name?
Cloud Basics.
No. Cloud Basics is the domain name.
Okay.
The computer name is www. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes or no? That's the reason I'm going to create here www. Did you understand why my computer name is www? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? Now, the next thing is, where do you want to create? Azure is again scattered worldwide. So, because I am also going to demonstrate by using this Abdul's login credentials. Abdul, you create everything you want to create in UK South,
Sure.
because most free services are available in UK South, and I am going to select North Europe.
Okay.
Okay, so yours is UK South. When you want to practice multi-global components, you take UAE North, or I'll take UAE North. I'll take North Europe, UAE North. You take UK South and Qatar.
Sure.
One in Asia, okay, one in Europe. That will actually make sense in understanding the subject. So your combination is Qatar and UK South. My combination is UK North and Abu Dhabi. I mean UAE North. So here I'm going to select North. When I say North, I can filter North Europe. So my customers are living in North Europe. So I'm going to create a website in North Europe, and my computer name is www. In availability options, for the next 8 days, we have to take no infrastructure redundancy required. We will not come to this availability options in the next 8 days. So let me not take it. Now, under security type, it should always be standard. We will understand these things later. For the moment, these are the default configurations you have to remember. The region is North Europe. Name is WW in today's lab. Availability options, no infrastructure redundancy required. So for some of you who are working on Google, there you can create anywhere, but there your computer name, let it be www. Google creates instance -1. So don't use instance -1, use www. That's it. Now under image here, I can select Ubuntu 22.04. Then drag a little down. Always try to select the same. 1 vCPU, 1 GB RAM. This is enough for 80% of our practicals. It is enough. And he's going to ask a question. Hello, Raghavendra. How do you want to connect? Say, I know how to connect using SSH public key, because that is what I am doing in Google till now. But for a change, I am going to use a user. The default user Azure proposes is Azure user, and you click password here and give a username Azure user. If you don't want to give, you can use Linux admin like me. So this is the username, and give a 12-digit password. And I have habituated to give a password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, small a, capital A, hash. Because your password should be 12 digit, it should use small letters, capital letters, special character like hash, exclamation, dollar, etc. So I'm using 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, small a, capital A, hash. So you guys also make sure you memorize your password. Use only one password throughout the course. Then just come down under select inbound ports. You have to select HTTPS and HTTP. Just like I said yesterday, today also I'm going to repeat. We have dedicated class for understanding the whole networking part. That should be straight tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to understand something called DNS. domain name system. We are going to deep dive into how the world is living with these names. But for today, practical is more important than understanding. So select HTTP and HTTPS. Once you select, click anywhere. Click next. And here you have the disk selections. If you continue using premium SSD, your 15,000 credit will evaporate in 4 5 days because premium SSD is highly expensive. We have a special day to discuss on disks and storage. At the moment, again, I'm bypassing. So I'm going to bypass every damn thing and I'm not going to explain many of the things today. I request all of you to select standard hard disk. We don't even need a SSD hard disk. It doesn't matter even if you take SSD premium or standard for our practicals, but this is cheap. Please save your 15,000 or 17,000 credit kindly for 1 month. Don't evaporate it in a single day. Okay, so under disks, there is no difference. You cannot see with your visual eye the difference between SSD and HDD until or unless thinking, wow, I'm using the fastest computer. There is no reason to take it. Okay, so I have selected standard hard disk. That's it. These are the only things I needed to do. I need not do anything. I'm straight away going to click review create. I'm not going to bother about networking, management, monitoring, advanced tags because I'm going to accept all the defaults. So I say review create. So Microsoft runs some validations. They are going to see if you have enough credit balance. They are going to see if the user who logs in, does he have permissions to create. Are you getting the point? Or are there any restrictions that this user cannot create a server in North Europe? Are there any restrictions this user cannot create a size? I'll tell you what happens in practical, I mean, in real time. Your developers, when they want to create virtual machine for testing, what they do is it's human tendency. That does not mean developers are wrong. They try to select the best size. Here it is 700 rupees per month, which is enough for most of the event development. What they do is they think, अरे एक बड़ा size ले लेंगे रे, పెద్ద size తీసుకుందాం మామ, बड़ा size ले लेंगे, and they will search, wow क्या size है मामा, जिंदगी में यूज कभी करे नहीं, 32 GB RAM, मेरा ड्रीम था ये, मेरा स्वप्न था. I have to have a laptop with 32 GB. Chalo, I will create a server. But what is it? How much it is charging per month? 26,000. And suddenly your Azure bill, you predicted it about 15 lakhs per month and you get 1 crore 50 lakhs per month because every developer is doing these kind of things. So what I can do in Azure is I can go and search for something called as policy. You go to a place called Azure Policies, and here I can actually assign a policy. This is not policies class. This is for you to understand the power of Azure. Nobody else has this. Na Google, na AWS. And you can, there are some policies that are by default already created. All you are going to do is you are going to assign them. So if you go to policy definitions, you can see a lot of policies. Policies for everything in Azure. Now, here I am going to check policies only for compute platform because virtual machines come under compute. So I just filtered compute and you can see only compute related. Okay, here can you see allowed virtual machine SKUs. I'll explain what is SKU, stock keeping unit, later, but you can click that and you can define a policy. Okay, and you can assign it to all the developers in your office, and you can actually, uh, you know, you can just do the setting here. The allowed sizes are only B1. I'll show you what is B1. What is my size I have taken here? The default size.
B1S.
Standard underscore B1S, indicating this is a standard series. B indicates burstable. We'll see later. Bursting. We'll see later what is bursting. 1 indicates 1 CPU. S indicates this size supports SSD hard disk. So standard B1S, that is how we call it. So go there, go to standard B1S wherever you see. Okay, now B1 has been updated recently to, I'll just show you. B series has recently got an update. You have B series version 2. Now here we are, B1S. Okay, 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. But then the latest series is B series V2, that is with 2 GB. It starts with 2 GB. So don't even give them that. Just stick to this. B1S बोले तो B1S बस, और कुछ बात करने का नहीं है. And you filter it. You get B1S. Now I'm going to apply this. I'm not going to do now. I'm not going to do now. Okay, I'm not going to do. Now once I apply this policy, none of the developers can create a virtual machine of any other size. Make sense? Does it make any sense for any of you? Think you are an administrator who want to optimize cost. So this comes under cost optimization. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So this comes under cost optimization. Great technique, is it, to optimize cost? Keep in mind, you can optimize cost using Azure policies. I'm making you ready for your interviews.
Okay.
How to configure is secondary. यार इंटरव्यू में ये नहीं देखता कि आप क्या खाया, कुछ खा के आया, हाँ साहब खा के, आप चिकन खाओ, मटन खाओ, वेज समोसा खाओ, किसको मालूम. They will ask only questions in interview. They will not ask you how to do. So they will ask you sudden. This is sudden surprise actually, and this is one of the first questions I ask. On an average, every 3 days I do at least 4 5 interviews. Zindagi mein mast kara. I could have interviewed more than 60 70 candidates in throughout my life. So the one of the first question, what is very important for me as a CEO is cost optimization. Yes or no?
Yes.
वन ऑफ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी. चलो यार कैसे भी अजूर क्लाउड है, अगर वहां पे सर्वर बना है तो चलेगा. सर्वर क्रिएट చేస్తే వర్కౌట్ అవుతుందండి. డెఫినెట్లీ అజూర్ ఈజ్ ఎ గుడ్ క్లౌడ్. मेरे को परवाह नहीं. I don't care actually. But for me, what is important is how are you optimizing my costs? How do you optimize my spend? So that is where you have to use a lot of policies. So from day one, all of you should think you are a CEO. Seriously. Then your vision towards cloud will be different. Are you getting the point? Don't think like a Amirpet Panjagutta roadside student. You are no longer ordinary students. आप DevOps का बाप या माँ बनने वाली है. हाँ? So, think in a big way. Think big. Dream big. आपका नजर में, if you want to think how many computers are there in a network, think about 1 lakh. Then how can I control them? How DevOps can convincingly control such a huge number of servers. आपका सोच वहां तक होना. Getting the point? Always think in thousands and lakhs. Then you will get a solution how to work with a system. एक दो तीन सर्वर क्या है यार, उसके लिए क्लाउड के पास जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. ऐसा no. Anyways,
One thing I want to ask, is it only available for the Azure only, platform only? There is no
absolutely
equivalent in AWS and Google.
nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. It's not so easy. There are various ways. They are unsubstandard ways to create. public bolte cloud formation, public bolte script.
Okay.
All these things are, yeah, they're all second grade items. A passionate AWS DevOps guy says, I will write script. Arey, script kaiko yaar, who the hell are you to write script? The cloud should give you provision. Azure is giving you provision clearly. Do you agree?
Yeah.
This will never do any error. Do you agree?
Yes.
Will you believe in the scripts your developer gives? Kya malum?
You might accidentally delete the whole server in a script.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, चलो guys. So आज के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? ये सर्वर क्रिएट करेंगे and I say click create. What I want you to understand is what exactly is this validation doing. This validation is doing if you have enough credit and money. Is your account active or blocked? Are Raghu said he will teach us how to host a website, but he is teaching things other than that. Chalo yaar. Chalo, we have to learn a lot of things. Okay, all are interrelated. Now you go to home, you come a little, go to subscriptions. Now Azure works in subscriptions. You can create multiple subscriptions. Now, by default, when you create Azure, they give you one subscription called free trial. You can rename it, but don't rename it. Practically in real world, you create multiple subscriptions, one for development teams, one for production, one for accounts, one for HR, one for DevOps. And if you have multiple customers, one for each customer, you can create multiple subscriptions. That is the reason once you are trying to create something, anything, the first thing it is going to ask is in which subscription. That's the first ask. Can you see?
Yes.
If you have multiple subscriptions, select appropriate subscription. Now, this strategy is quite impeccable in the sense you create separate production subscription, testing subscription, development subscription, and don't give access to production subscription so that developers do not come and poke with production machines. So that is what it is going to validate. Do you have a subscription that is active? Now, one of the important things here is if you do not pay the bill, the status will become from active to disabled. So it is going to do all these minimum checks, validations. Is the subscription active? Does this user has a policy that he cannot create virtual machine in a particular region? Does this user, the person who logged in, has permission to actually create virtual machine? Okay, now I'm going to talk about all these things later. At the moment, you just say, because validation passed, let us create a virtual machine and let us make it ready for tomorrow's discussion. Creating a virtual machine is quite easy, gentlemen. There are a couple of steps: copy paste tomorrow, copy paste tomorrow, copy paste tomorrow. But beyond creating a virtual machine, what is very important is understanding this. What is this? What is this? What is this? And you have to understand another very important concept called as DNS, domain name system. Without understanding this, you cannot go ahead and create a website. Okay, and because that is what is happening when I open this screen, it has taken me to DNS, and here you see a lot of things. Record, what all these records? The moment you found the word record is nothing but a line containing columns: name column, type column, value column. These are all columns. The moment you have columns and rows that is filled with data, 100% that is what? When you find rows and columns, what is that going to be?
DNS. Rows and column
Database. Like an Excel sheet. An Excel sheet is a minimal database. Oracle is a bigger database. When you have something scattered in rows and columns like in an Excel sheet, you can definitely understand that we are using a database. So DNS is a database. It keeps information like in an Excel sheet. Here I can keep little information. I can actually keep only a few information. How many? The moment these records are more than 5,000, 10,000, my Excel sheet becomes so slow. My Excel sheet becomes slow. Now you have a million records. Tab to Excel sheet doesn't work. If you have millions of rows, so many things, Excel sheet does not work. You need a specialized software to maintain such data that is scattered in rows and columns. This column, this column, this column. That is called as a database server. Okay, so we'll do it tomorrow. So today I have created a virtual machine in Azure. All of you kindly do that. Once your virtual machine is created, you can either click and go to the virtual machine, or you click home, click virtual machine, then you can see your virtual machine. If you think your screen is a little small, you can make it a little bigger and click the virtual machine. It is running, it is quite up and running. Now, so tomorrow I'll do parallel comparisons. I will create one in Google. I will be using this Azure. I'll be using both. I told you, right, we are going to learn multi-cloud. So without wasting time, whenever we are configuring something, it is easy if we do with multi-cloud. And I'm going to also introduce AWS cloud in the next class. Some settings I will be doing in all the three. Some settings sometimes I'll do only in Azure. Okay, so where I compare, it is important to understand multiple clouds. Are you getting the point? So be prepared to work with multiple clouds. If you think, Arey Raghav bro, it's very difficult to remember क्या जी है dashboard है जी. What difficult is it? Yes or no? एक बार, दो बार, तीन बार practice कर लेना. Make sense, guys? Put my video in your mobile and keep practicing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. क्या फर्क गिरेगा? Okay? I hope you guys will do it.
And small doubt అండి.
Yeah.
ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు సమ్ X% కి క్రెడిట్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సో నాకు యూజర్ కింద నన్ను యాడ్ చేశారు. నా దగ్గర క్రెడిట్స్ లేవు. సో కెన్ ఐ యాక్సెస్ ది సేమ్ పర్సన్ అండ్
Yes, yes, yes. See, credits is not user specific. Credit is account specific.
ఓకే.
Okay. If you go to home, now Abdul has created my user account by going into somewhere called Entra Identity. This is called Identity Manager, Identity and Access Manager, IAM.
ఓకే.
This was called Azure Active Directory 2 months back. They have renamed it to Entra ID. Now we are all users. We are all part of something called as a tenant.
ఓకే.
In this tenant, we have a subscription. I'm going to explain this relation in the coming
Sure.
class. As long as this subscription is active and has money, and as long as you are made part of the subscription, you can create.
ఈస్
Now
దేర్ ఎనీ
here too,
చెప్పండి.
is there any?
ఈస్ దేర్ ఎనీ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్స్ అంటే ఫ్రీ ఇప్పుడు ఫ్రీ ట్రయల్ వాడుతున్నాము అండ్ దాని
Yeah. I'll just tell you. So this is an offer called as MS AZR 004P. 44P. Okay. Now just go to Google and type for the offers, and you get a list of offers. Okay. Here it is a free trial with this code, with this offer code. Okay. Then there is something called Action Pack. Microsoft partners will get it. Okay, then there is something called cloud service provider. You can also purchase it. There is something for students. Then there
Okay.
are something for me like who teach things. And for large corporate, there is something called enterprise. For example, if there is a server you have seen earlier, 26,000 rupees per month, is it?
Yes.
Yes or no? If you purchase enterprise dev test, that will drastically come down to 1,500 rupees or 1,000 rupees per month.
Okay. Okay.
If you come to enterprise subscribers, it will be a little 2,000, 3,000. So that means based on the type of subscription, it varies. I'm going to explain this later. But
Sure.
at the moment, we are using free trial. So whenever you are creating an Azure subscription, it's important to see what is there in the screen, what is the offer you have. Make sense?
Yes.
Thanks, guys. See you in the next class. Bye bye.
Sure. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Abdul.
సో రేపు